I wanted to be a business manager and accountant initially. Got about 3 years into accounting school at the University of Kansas and decided that a cubicle job was not for me. I kind of always worked in kitchens growing up through high school and then again part-time through college, and just kind of fell back into the kitchens. This is the only brewery, of course, in Springfield, and so it gives us a little bit more play, a little bit more freedom. Something local, something that they can be proud of, call their own, and we try to offer them that here.
Every Tuesday is Tasty Tuesday here on KVAL's Morning Show.
That's right. And
so
each week,
Tuesday.
Yes, we feature a restaurant in the Eugene Springfield area, and we have a local chef whip us up tasty treats. And today, we're heading over to Springfield, just off Beltline, the Gateway area. You'll find a local brewery called Hop Valley Brewing Company.
Over the weekend, it unveiled a new beer, the Hoptoberfest beer. Anyway, Addison Taylor is there, and he joins us now live. So what are you cooking something, Addison,
drinking.
or are you just drinking?
Oh, you know me, Shelley. I never cook anything. I, just watch and just say ooh and ah, and then taste it later and then reap all the benefits. So that's what we're going to do this morning, and we're learning how to cook with beer. And like you guys just said, here at Hop Valley Brewing Company, they just unveiled that new beer, Hoptoberfest. And joining me to talk about it and how you can cook with it is David Lucht. Saying that right?
Yep, you got it.
How are you doing this morning?
Just fine. How are you doing?
I'm great, thanks for asking. So what are we going to work on today?
Well, today we've got a Spätzle and Schnitzel recipe with a Hoptober mustard sauce. Now, this here will be our Schnitzel. It's a breaded pounded veal cutlet, so I'll show you how to get the breading done here in just a moment. This here is all our ingredients that go into our Hoptoberfest sauce. As you can see, there are a few different ingredients, and we're going to add them in sequence to create a layer of flavor in the sauce and not to overwhelm the beer. And then the last item we have, of course, is our Spätzle, and this is a very thick batter that creates a little egg-shaped dumpling. So that's what I've got working for you guys today.
Okay, so first let's talk about how the beer is used to make these sauces, you were saying?
Well, our Hoptoberfest is a light, easy drinking beer. It also has a little bit higher malt content than the average beer, so a little bit more sweetness. And we're playing off of that with some of the mustards here. The mustard has a little bit of bite, a little bit of earthiness. It combines very well with the malts in the beer. So what we've done is we have our beer and our chicken stock. We're going to reduce this down with some cream and sour cream. Once we get that up to a rolling boil, we're going to add what we call basic aromatics, so some basic herbs, seasonings, shallots, peppercorns. Once that comes back up to a boil and reduces the consistency we like, we're going to add our mustards to the flavor.
Great.
That's basically how you make a quick sauce.
Sounds probably very complicated, but not quite so, and we're explaining it now.
No,
so exactly how much of the Hoptoberfest do you use, like as far as parts?
Well, actually, you can find the recipe on KVAL.com, but we've got 2 cups beer, 2 cups stock here, 1 cup cream, 1 cup sour cream. And that's about your ratio. We found that you can add a little bit more beer if you want to bring out the beer flavor in there, but it tends to overwhelm the mustard at that point. So this is a well balanced.
Okay. And what was that, the schnitzel?
This is actually the Spätzle.
Spätzle and schnitzel. You're
Spätzle
talking about
and
how
schnitzel, yeah,
German
absolutely.
food is fun to say, right?
Absolutely.
Well, we're going to work on this in just a little bit. So this is what's coming up as KVAL News continues this morning.
What's going on now, Addison?
It's Spätzle time. Remember we said we were going to work on this earlier, and this is what we're working on now. And it actually cooks pretty quickly, so we might be able to show you the end result here. And David's going to explain here right now what we're doing.
All right, so what I'm doing is I'm forcing this really thick batter straight through these little holes of this perforated pan into some salted boiling water underneath. Now what's going to happen is they poach really quickly once they hit that salty water. Actually retain the shape of an egg drop, more or less.
And so all morning long we're sort of talking about cooking with beer. So what's the beer aspect of this?
This actually is the starch for the dish. It gives the beer just a little bit of a body, something to grab onto with the sauce. So the beer and the sauce, of course, gives our beer flavor for the dish. Without the beer and the sauce, or without the Spätzle here, there's really no way to appreciate the sauce and all the beer in there. So this gives us the body.
Is this a cooler temperature over here?
Yeah, absolutely. This right here is what I call a shock. So what I'm doing is I'm cooking it off, and as soon as it's done to the point I like, I get it over into the cold water. And what that cold water does is instantly stop the cooking. And then we end up with our little egg drop shaped Spätzle right here.
And what is this, Spätzle, I guess?
Spätzle, yeah.
Delicious
Absolutely.
German dish, very easy to say.
Absolutely. Very easy to say, very fun to say, very fun to make, absolutely.
So we take this and mix it with one of the sauces that we made earlier over here?
Absolutely, absolutely. In fact, I have that sauce right here working.
Oh, great.
So this will all be part of the same composed plate when we're finished at the end of the day. So basically we're going to have our schnitzel with our spetzel on a plate. I've actually made some braised red cabbage. We don't have time for me to show you exactly how long that takes, but it does take several hours. And so we'll actually have the complete dish for you at the very end of the show.
Okay, great. And we started out earlier this morning just working on different kinds of sauces that have beer somewhere in the element, and we'll put all these online, of course. So we're going to move on for this morning. And then after that, we worked on this, which is called?
This is our spetzel.
Spetzel. Thanks again, David from Hop Valley Brewing Company here. And this is what we made earlier, kind of an interesting way it's made. It's sort of, what would you say that's with that screen thing?
Yeah, just pressed right through a perforated hotel pan. Basically, you need the larger holes to get it to drop into the boiling water.
And so things are coming together. Now we're going to work on something else, which has a very German and difficult thing for me to say, which is right here. What's it called again?
This is actually the schnitzel.
Schnitzel. Okay. So what are we working on here?
So basically what I've done is I've taken a veal cutlet at this point, so I've pounded it out flat with the meat hammer here, and then I've turned it over to this side here and given it a once over, and that just tenderizes, breaks apart a lot of the muscle strains. So what we're going to do, and you do this method for any kind of breading for frying, you start with your flour, and I've seasoned this flour with just a little salt and pepper. From the flour we go into our egg wash here, and this is simply egg yolk and buttermilk, and again these recipes you can find on KVAL.com. What happens is that flour I put in first actually seals all the juices into the meat, and the egg wash gives the breadcrumbs here something to stick into. So once we've got it breaded like so, we're going to tap off our excess, and if you follow me over to this super hot pan right here, we're going to drop it right in some hot oil. It's important you always lay it away from yourself, because if the oil's going to splash up, it'll splash away at that point.
Oh yeah. Well, this is going to cook away this morning, and just coming up in about 10 minutes, we're going to show you the final result and how you can make it at home.
Addison Taylor is there this morning, and he joins us now live. What are you cooking up, Addison?
We've been over this, Shelley. I don't cook. Remember, I just watch and I explain.
I want to hear your German. I want to hear your best German accent on these things.
I'll work on it. We'll come back. Anyway, we're talking about beer here. You know, here at Hop Valley Brewing Company, they just had their Oktoberfest celebration, and this is their Hoptoberfest. That's what it's called here. And if you notice, it's in a measuring cup because we're talking about cooking with beer. And so this is what we made, and we were working on it all morning long. And this is our sort of our final dish, you might say. And here's our sauce that has the beer in it.
Absolutely. And the sauce is a mustard sauce that has our Hoptoberfest Ale in it. So you can find all these recipes again on KVAL.com. Again, something about the mustard with the Hoptoberfest Ale. The Hoptoberfest Ale is that smooth, easy drinking, is heavier in malt, so it balances really well against the earthy kind of bite of the nice mustard sauce.
Yeah.
And again, it pairs classically with the schnitzel and spetzel we created. So.
Yeah, and this is on your menu as well?
Actually, this is something we ran on Sunday, so you just missed out for this year. Next year, I guarantee you we're going to run it again. It was a very popular item.
Well, it's a good thing we have the recipe online, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. So you don't have to wait the full year to get it.
I want to thanks for being on the show and telling us all about cooking with beer. Again, like you said, all this is online. Reporting live, Addison Taylor. Back to you guys in the studio.
Okay, Addison, real quick. Schnitzel.
Schnitzel.
Excellent.
And spetzel,
Okay.
something like that.
Okay, there you go. Thank you so much.
Beer can be used just like wine with food. Different beers, different styles lead to natural pairings with different types of cuisine. And the one thing I want people to really be aware of is the upflow of beer in our culture and how much more microbrews are becoming a part than the domestics.